efficiency and leadership are likely to dominate the discussions today as Gauteng Judge President Dunstan Mlambo is interviewed for the position of Chief Justice. Now, Mlambo is the head of South Africa's busiest court division. In fact, he leads the judiciary's technology working group as well. Joining us to get us a sense of his career highlights and perhaps what to expect for the day ahead, let's bring in once again Newzroom Afrika contributor Dianne Hawker, live to us from Sandton this morning. And Dianne, because of the role that Dunstan Mlambo occupies, many actually consider him to be at the coalface of what the judiciary is doing in South Africa because of just how busy the division he leads actually is.
Yes, absolutely, Ayanda. I think that, the work that Justice Mlambo or Judge Mlambo has done in the Gauteng division will definitely come up when, there's questions about leadership being asked by the Commission. In fact, I want to bring in my guest, Chris Oxtoby from the DGRU. Thanks for joining us this morning, Chris. Before we start talking about Judge Mlambo, I want us to just reflect briefly on yesterday's proceedings. We saw quite a bit of a disparity between the manner in which the interview was handled on Monday with Justice Madlanga and the interview yesterday that we had with Justice Maya. I know that the DGRU and Judges Matter have been calling for some kind of consistency when it comes to questioning of candidates. Do you think that it's really time now for the JSC to actually implement what you guys have been calling for?
Yes, I do. I have to say, I think so far what we've seen this week has certainly not been the worst example of inconsistency that we've seen from the JSC. I think part of the difference between the interviews was that Justice Maya was very comprehensive in setting out her vision for the judiciary. And so I think that probably took away a lot of questions that would have come to her otherwise. But I do think that there's an underlying structural issue with the JSC not having particularly detailed and transparent criteria beyond the basics in the Constitution. And in fact, the spokesperson yesterday was talking about the JSC holding a workshop to engage with that, and we would definitely welcome and encourage that step.
Now, looking at Judge Mlambo, he leads the High Court here in Gauteng. There's the Pretoria division and then there's the Johannesburg division, both of which are extremely busy courts. But I think also amongst the courts that have been the most sort of ahead of the game, one would say, when it comes to technology implementation. Do you think that that's something that will count positively in his favor?
Yes, I think it certainly should, and we've already heard this week, we've heard some mention about some electronic case filing and case management systems that are slowly being rolled out in the judiciary. I think that is something that the judiciary very much needs to be taking forward in the future, and Gauteng under Judge President Mlambo has been the test site for that. So I think it does give him a tremendous advantage as an administrator with a proven track record on those kind of issues. So I would expect that is something that's going to feature quite prominently in his vision for what he would do with the judiciary if he's appointed as Chief Justice.
Now, interestingly, when it comes to Dunstan Mlambo, he has actually not only been the Judge President at the High Court, he's also been a Judge President at the Labour Court, which I think is a bit different from some of the other candidates. Do you think that's something that the Commission will actually consider as a plus in his corner?
I think so. I mean, he's clearly got a proven track record as a leader, as an administrator, and has as you say, a breadth of knowledge of the challenges facing the judiciary at different levels. And I'll just add, in addition to that, he's also previously been a judge on the Supreme Court of Appeal. So I think that that range and extent of his experience is a big plus for his candidacy, and it is something that I would expect to feature quite prominently today.
Now, one of the things that the DGRU looks at, of course, is the judgments that some of the judges have actually worked on, and you compile a report on that. Looking at Judge Mlambo's sort of judicial career, what stands out for you?
I think the big thing that stands out, and something that I'm expecting to feature today also, is the fact that the Gauteng Court has really been at the forefront of a lot of the cases that relate to, for want of a better phrase, the pushback against the phenomenon of state capture. And so you have lots of cases involving public protector reports, involving the extension to the duration of the State Capture Commission have come from his court, not necessarily all of them judgments written by him, but he has written some significant judgments in that area. One that springs to mind immediately is a costs order against former President Zuma for a review of the Public Protector's original state of capture report. So in the political dynamics that we're seeing with the Zondo Commission already being foreshadowed as a line of questioning earlier this week, I would expect that to come out. And it may be approached in two ways. It may be approached as an illustration of his independence, and it may be criticized from a different political standpoint. But I would expect that to feature quite prominently today as well.
Yeah, a lot of important issues that we likely to see, and also these interviews, of course, haven't been, quick interviews. One full day being set aside for each of the candidates. There is a bit of anticipation from some who I've spoken to here that today's interview could actually take quite a length of time, partly because of some of the issues that my guest Chris Oxtoby from the DGRU is pointing out, that there might also be some political factors that come into play. But of course, with Judge Mlambo being one of the heads of court and also a leader of one of the biggest divisions in the country, definitely a lot also to be spoken about in terms of his leadership approach, as well as being a proponent for improving technological services within the judiciary.
Plenty to look forward to, as always. Dianne Hawker, thanks very much indeed. Dianne, live to us there from Sandton. She's our Newzroom Afrika contributor.